right. Here we are again. Welcome in to another grand adventure we find ourselves facing today. I thought today would be a good opportunity, mainly because it just arrived and I was eager to get it to the table, if I'm being honest. A classic. This is a true classic. A lot of time when I say something's a classic, I usually refer to it as a classic when it's like a modern classic. It's one that defined the genre during the golden era of board games that we find ourselves in, usually somewhere in the mid to early teens, 2010s, something like that. And then from that point forward, that influence spread throughout the industry, and it really influenced the games that came after it. In this case, this is a true classic. This is a third, possibly fourth, I think third, I don't remember, edition of this game. This is the 40th anniversary of this game. This game was first hit the market in 1985. I had never heard of it until, I don't know, probably 5-6 years ago at all, and didn't really pay it much attention because it was an old game and hadn't been re-released in a while. And so I just kind of wrote it off, like I think a lot of people do. And then the campaign came to release this 40th anniversary edition, and I couldn't pass it up. I think the production value that they were promising, which by the way they delivered on, and the concept of the game was very interesting. This is Tales of the Arabian Nights, and there has since been additional Tales of the games released, which is great. And depending on how this playthrough goes, my initial impressions of this game, I may go and get the other Tales of the games. There's particularly one that came after this recently that I am very interested in. And I'm hoping this playthrough is illustrative enough to me to make me want to go get it. There is rumor that we might see a third Tales of the game, whatever that happens to be. We're not entirely sure what that might be. So if I'm being a little cagey on what the second one is, the one that was released, it's Tales of the Arthurian Knights. That is a theme that is much more interesting to me, I think. This theme is also interesting to me, though, because it's a classic set of literature that this is based off of. And so there's going to be countless tales. In fact, I'll just start the intro. There are going to be countless tales that you can explore and experience from that rich set of historical novels that was written. And you'll be able to do that and explore those kind of rich experiences throughout your time with this game. So what are we doing in this game? This is primarily a narrative adventure game. And when I say narrative, it is modular in the sense that you're going to be able to move around the world. By the way, this map is intentionally not to scale, and it is intentionally inaccurate in many ways, because this is a representation of the map making skills. Say that again, map making skills of the time in which Tales of the Arabian Nights stories were written. So this was about as good as it got in terms of what they had for maps at the time. So a lot of the stories reference things that are somewhat geographically inaccurate. Well, that's just because that was the level of detail and data they had at the time. So that's why you see a map that looks a little strange. Anyway, what we're doing in Tales of the Arabian Nights is we pick a character from the stories. In this case, today I'm playing Ali Baba. It's right down here on my little player board. I'm playing Ali Baba, and we start out in Baghdad, and then depending on the story that we are going on, we will then move around the map either by land, which are these, and I'll zoom in a little so we can see. So either by land, which are these red dotted lines, or by sea, which are these solid blue lines. And in the game, we're going to be traversing 6 different possible types of terrain. They are city, forest, island, mountain, desert, and sea. And we're going to be managing our destiny points. And then on the other side of the board, we'll come over here. We're going to be managing our story points. And because now I'm going to come all the way back to the back corner, but also since we're playing the solo game, we'll also be managing our quest level. So these markers will all go up or down their various tracks throughout the game as things happen and as I make decisions about what I'm going to do in reaction to the encounters that I find myself on. So I'm going to be moving around the map. I'm going to be exploring new things. I'm going to be experiencing encounters. I'm going to be making decisions about what to do in those encounters, and those decisions will then influence how the end of my quest is experienced. You'll understand as we go, but welcome in everybody. We're just getting started. So as you note on the map, as I mentioned, there's different kinds of terrain. There's different modes of transportation. There's also these places of wonder? What are they called? Places of power. They are very unique locations that are all, you can't really see this on the camera as much because I'm not moving the camera around, but they are all silkscreen printed. So they actually have this sheen to them where the rest of the board is a matte color, is a matte finish. These very specific points of interest on the map, I'll give you like the Undersea Kingdom here. Let me push in on that one. So this is an example of is that to focus? Looks like it might be focused. Okay, yeah. So this is an example of a kind of a place of, I did it again. I'm going to do it again several times until I get it right. I'm new to the game. Place of power. This is a place of power. You can't actually visit these locations unless the encounters that you go on unlock them for you. So there's no guarantee that throughout the game I'm playing today that I'm going to visit the Undersea Kingdom. I may not. It really depends on what happens during play. I'm going to try to focus this again here just to make sure that we are crystal clear. Pardon me. If we aren't, I'm sure that you'll sound off in the comments and chat and let me know. But there we go. Okay, yeah, that looks all right. Okay. So there's a number of those places of power scattered around. We unlock those, access to those as we play. We are managing our destiny and our story points, and we're tracking the progress on our quests. We're going to be possibly gaining treasure as we go along. It really depends on the decisions that, again, we make and what happens as a result of our choices with these encounters. We'll also be getting city cards. There's an entire set of cards. You can't really see them. I'll kind of try to pan over a little so you can see them here. I have them kind of stacked in weird ways because they're kind of mostly off camera. But those are decks of cards that we're going to be drawing from throughout the game. And then there's also the time of day. That's these tiles up here. This is right now morning time. That's how the game begins. And then as the game progresses, time will change. So when I mention that it is narrative, here's what I'm talking about. For the 40th anniversary edition, they produced, Play to Z Games produced this glorious, and there you go, you can kind of see it, this really glorious, debossed, hardback, really well-bound book of tales. And I'm not even going to open the book because, and by the way, it is also chapter referenced, so you can get to these really quickly. It gives you a picture of the map inside, but everything in here is all narrative adventure that we're going to be able to go on. Beyond that, in the solo mode, they give you an entire solo book of tales that relate entirely to the solo adventures and the solo quests that we're going to be going on. The quests in the solo mode are unique to solo. I don't know if they're unique. They're solo versions of the quests at minimum. They may be unique. This is a softback book, still very well bound though, but not debossed. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm used to being a second-class citizen when it comes to playing solo. That's fine. I'm just kidding. They did a really nice job. This is very good. So between those two books, there's a lot of story that we're going to get into. I've never played Tales of the Arabian Nights before myself. I'm excited to get into it. And that being said, this is a narrative game. So I just want to be very clear that throughout our play today, you're going to be exposed to a modicum of the content that are in those 2 tomes that I showed you. So you won't, if you were to buy this game later, you won't be 100% spoiler free. I am playing a narrative game. This is probably the first narrative game like this I've played on my channel, but I figure the amount of content in here, plus the permutations, the characters you play, the choices you make, the quests you go on, the number of players that you decide to play with, all of those things are going to be vastly different every time you play. So even though you encounter these encounters, you might have certain skills available to you that you didn't have when you played before. You might be playing a different character than you were playing before. And all of these things may very well influence exactly which paragraphs in these stories you even read. They might be that you read an entirely different paragraph for the exact same scenario. And I'll get into why that might change or how that might change as I show you the mechanics of the system that they've created. So it's very good. There's a lot of variability and permutation even to exact which edges of the story that you get exposed to. So you, even though you might draw the same thing again next time, it may not even be the same story you read. So very cool. It also means, yes, you might see a slice of this content, but I perceive that to be very minimal for one playthrough. So hopefully, if that's okay with you, great, keep watching. If not, you know, no harm, no foul. Move on to the next one. I thought I might show you something different, but I understand wanting to be 100% spoiler free. So here I am in solo. I mentioned skills, and one of the first things we do when we set up for any game of Tales of the Arabian Night is select the skills that our character has. And as far as I understand the rules, these are the skills that we're going to be picking up, or we're going to be picking from for our character. I have not done that. I decided to do it when we were online here as part of setup, as part of stream, because I feel like it's important that you see kind of the whole end-to-end experience. And one of those is, what are we good at? What are our talents? And we have 3. And we have the opportunity, or we might have the opportunity, to master those talents, become better at them. So these are our base versions. And then throughout the game, depending on which ones we pick and depending on what choices we make, we may end up leveling those skills up to make them even better. So let's figure out who we are, right? And here's the thing. We don't really know much about the adventure we're going on. I decided, as part of setup, to draw. I didn't decide. I drew a solo quest card. Here, I'll put it over here so you can see it. I drew a solo quest card, and I did that semi-randomly. What I decided to do, the book kind of gives you some options about how to draw these. What I decided to do is the various quests that you can play solo come with various levels of risk. And at the very bottom, in very tiny, tiny print, this one says risky. There are... There is, let me figure out if there are, no, that's not right. That's the solo quests. We'll go over here and I'll dig them out because I'm very curious now. Solo quests, okay. So there are dangerous and safe quests as well. So this is risky. I believe that to be right in the middle. And so I decided to just draw off a shuffled deck of solo quests, and then I would stop at the first one I encountered of each risk type. One safe, one dangerous, and one risky right in the middle, and then choose between those 3. So it's semi-random in that I shuffled the deck, and then I stopped at the first one of each type, and then I chose between those 3. So I decided to go right down the middle, kind of that normal difficulty game. So I'm going with risky. And what the book says is this level of difficulty, or any level of difficulty, describes the likelihood that you may die in the process of this adventure. So if you played a safe one, most likely you won't die, or it would be very difficult for you to die. If you're playing a dangerous one, death might be around every corner. I'm playing risky, so it's one of those, don't trip and fall and you won't die. Maybe. Hopefully, unless you're dumb and, do something that you shouldn't. But it's not about being dumb necessarily. And here's what I mean. This is a very basic card. There's very little information on it. It says The quest I'm going on today is Earthly Paradise. A chance encounter with a holy man set you on a quest for a fabled land, the Earthly Paradise. Begin your quest in Baghdad, gather these components, which I have done, and then begin reading your first paragraph of the quest. That's it. That's the entire amount of information that I have to go on when choosing my skills. That's not a whole lot. So I don't know where this quest is going to take me. I might be traveling all over the world, encountering all different manner of different mystic things or mundane things. Who knows? It's hard to say. I might just be set upon by bandits. It might be that simple. So do I want weapon use because I might get into combat? Or do I want to be magic? Or do I just want to be wise and lucky, right? I could be good at seamanship, which lets me travel the oceans. Who knows, though? The adventure might just stick me into the mountains and I may never use that skill. I don't know, right? Wilderness lore, piety, storytelling, beguiling, which might be helpful, seduction. So these will all help me in my quest. Acting and disguise, stealth and stealing, scholarship, right? So all of them are great. I kind of want a blending in the hopes that I can, at least one of these skills might come in handy. Quick thinking, right? But do I want quick thinking and wisdom, perhaps? So I'm wise, but I'm also fast? I don't know. It's tough, but those are two very cerebral skills where I might want something more physical as well. That's tough. Enduring hardship might be good too, in case I'm like slogging it out in the mountains forever and ever and I'm exhausted. Maybe enduring hardship might be good, might save me my life potentially. Yeah, I don't know. Wilderness lore, that sounds good. These are all great. So I really don't know. I feel like maybe weapon use is pragmatic. So we'll choose one of those. I'll put it up here. And we can kind of decide what we're going to do. So there's weapon use, maybe. And if you have ideas or suggestions as you're watching this, if you're here on stream, I'm all ears. I'm happy to entertain some concepts here. Let's see. Luck is kind of boring, but maybe bargaining and evaluation could be good. Quick thinking or wisdom also sounds good. What should I do? I don't know. Magic, maybe. I don't know. Courtly graces? Let's see. For some reason, I'm gravitating towards quick thinking. So we're going to go quick thinking for the moment. Maybe there's a better option, but we'll see. Seduction or beguiling, those are very charismatic skills. Courtly graces, same thing. Appearance, might be good looking. I like the idea of like a more like outward skill though, like weapon use, yes. Quick thinking, get me out of some jams, maybe make good decisions or fast decisions at least. But beguiling, those are all like convincing people. Maybe we go with seduction. I don't know. I like that. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe I've never played the game before, so I'm just kind of taking a swing at it, right? So I think weapon use, quick thinking, and seduction. So I'm suave, perhaps. I think on my feet, and I know how to use weapons. Seems reasonable for my very first game. So we're going to go with those three, unless anybody has some objections or better ideas. Those are my skills for this game. I don't know where to put them though. What I might do is just scoot these off to the side, because after we've chosen our skills, they kind of don't matter anymore. So I'll just go ahead and shift those off. Okay, so there we go. Quick thinking, weapon use, and seduction. So these other markers down here are status markers. These here on the bottom are like quest progress. These are going to be put out on the map to denote the next step in the quest. Go here for step 5, for example, will be what those are. And then these will be managed in very specific cases depending on what happens in the game. So I haven't shown you the player board at all, so I'll just quickly show you what the players get. And I'll pop that down here so we can see. Oh, that might be a little too far. Okay, too far. Still too far. Let's be a bit more pragmatic there, shub. There we go. That's better. All right, so that's good enough. There's a lot on this, but it's actually not too difficult to parse once you understand. So when we're reacting to various encounters, it will say, hey, you need to pick a reaction from one of these columns. It'll say, you know, pick a reaction from column F, right? So I'll look at F and I'll know that my options are pray or avoid or wait or what have you. So those are all going to be available to me to decide. Depending on which encounter I get will depend on which column I pick from. So that's here. Every player gets one of these, and it's just to help you see at a glance what your choices are when somebody presents something to you. And when you're playing a multiplayer game, the other players have the books in their hands for you. So you're going to be making the choices, but they're going to be reading the paragraphs to you and telling you what happens as a result of your choices. And then the books move around as it's different players' turns. But in the solo game, I'm judge, jury, and execution. It's all me. But at the top, you'll see that this is our income. This is how rich we are at the moment. Every time you play the game, as I understand it, you start out poor, which is the 3rd tier. I could go even lower. I could end up becoming penniless or even a beggar, depending on what happens. Or I might end up just at the very top, which is fabulous. That's actually what it says. So that's how I read it. So fabulous is the very top of the richness scale. So underneath that is princely, rich, respectable, and then of course poor, which is where I start. Why that matters primarily is movement and how fast you can move at different types of movement. So if I'm crossing the land and I'm starting out the game poor, as I'm moving along, I can move a maximum of 3 steps on land because I am poor. And in this time period especially, and I think it's still true today, the distance you can travel within a reasonable period of time is largely dependent on how much money you can spend. If you got all the money in the world, I can fly anywhere I want in 12 hours or 18 hours throughout the whole world, right, today. Same kind of concept, right? But if I'm really, strapped for cash, I might have to go way slower. So I can move a maximum of 3 over land in the poor state, or 2 by sea, because traveling by sea is expensive. So I'll get into mixed use cases as we might encounter them, but there's a method for determining. It's a really easy thing to understand once you apply it. If you're going from land to sea or from sea to land in one movement. But suffice it to say, this is a kind of an idea, a barometer for how fast or slow you can move based on how much money you have available to you. So we start poor. So I think I've pretty much covered the basics, at least in concept form. So I think the rest of it will become very clear as we play. If there are any questions, shout them out in chat or the comments, and I'm happy to pause and answer them as you ask, especially if I see them. Hopefully I'll see them. But yeah, so all we're gonna do in the solo game is we take our little solo card, our quest card, and it says start in Baghdad and read paragraph SQ 600. So that's solo quest 600. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this book of solo tales. I'm going to zoom out first so you can actually see. Take this book of solo tales, and I'm going to flip over to SQ 600. And there it is. I have that page up, and it says Earthly Paradise on the top, so I know I'm in the right place. I'm going to use this quest card as my bookmark throughout the game, so I don't have to continue to search through this book for the next thing. All right, so the quest begins thusly. A dervish in the city of peace. By the way, that's Baghdad. Baghdad is the city of peace. A dervish in the city of peace. You are conducting your own life in the city of peace when you are approached by a dervish, one of a mendicant faithful, who have devoted themselves to adoring God to the exclusion of all other activity. He is strange and fascinating of feature, and your attention is seized. With a burst of charity, you hail him in the name of Allah and offer him alms. You offer to host him in your home, and to your pleasure he accepts. You retire to your home and have a feast. And although the dervish eats sparingly, you remark upon his strange features, and he tells you his story. He is an Uzbek, one of the races of Turks who roam the plains of Asia. But for many years, he has been in the fellowship of a band of men like himself, who have been devoted to the glorification of Allah. Praise and glory to his name. Through their works on earth. It is his duty to go forth amongst the people of the civilized world and remind them of their duty to the faith. The dervish tells you of his travels throughout the world, proclaiming the word of Allah and the glory of his prophet, O Muhammad, praise forever to his name. The strangest land he ever encountered was a land called by its natives, quote, the earthly paradise, end quote. You are surprised, for you have always thought that, quote, paradise was the exclusive realm of the Most High, and the dervish confirms your belief. You beg him for further information on the nature of this land, but he is unwilling to tell of this land. You plead with him for more information, but he is firm in his will to say nothing. However, he does offer to set you on a path that will lead you to a greater understanding of the wonders of Allah. And when you have learned, he will lead you to the land of the earthly paradise. You eagerly accept, and to your surprise, he gets up and leaves immediately. You ask him to stay, and he says he cannot, that the only way for you to learn from him is for him to absent himself. He instead instructs you of the church in the far-off infidel lands where you will learn of the strength of Islam. With that, he departs, and you put your affairs in order. With only a small sack of gold, you set off for distant Ireland, wondering at the mysteries awaiting you there. Milestone 1, Ireland. Island spaced west of Stonehenge. Okay. So that tells me we're going to push in on the Isles over here. So west of Stonehenge would be this island right here. So we're going to put quest marker 1 right next to this island west of Stonehenge. Okay. So that's where we have to make our way next. All right, so along the way, we're of course going to get into all kinds of little shenanigans. So we need to decide how we're going to move around this world. Well, I mentioned I'm playing Alibaba. So I have Alibaba sitting on Baghdad right now. The 40th anniversary edition of this game comes with acrylic minis. Well, they're really standees. Acrylic standees. For the purposes of filming, I decided to just pull it off its base and lay it flat because it's transparent, so you can actually see them standing in the city. So that's where we find ourselves. Now, as I mentioned, I am poor, so my by land transport per move is a maximum of 3. So if I wanted to just walk all the way this way, I'm going like from here all the way to Ireland up to the left, I would have to do that over land, right? Or I could sail and try to reduce the amount of time it takes to get there. That's tempting, right? Because let's zoom out a touch so you can see, and I'll scoot over since you can kind of see these options. So I'm heading to the upper left because that's where the UK is from here. So choice One could be to travel to Damascus and then charter sea to then travel to Rome, right? And then use Rome to get up here. But what you can't see is that I'll even go even further, right? Once I get to Rome, I can't just like hop one step and get out. Like here I am in, I believe, probably France, most likely. I can't just hop across. I have to come all the way up to the Balts or down to Lyon and then catch a boat. Since, I mean, though that's not bad, maybe what we do instead is we try to go to Cordoba, because then we can just go to Lyon and straight to our island right here. So it might make sense, right, to come over to Damascus here. Not even Alexandria, right? Alexandria makes more sense, because then I can go 1, 2, 3. Oh, you can't see that. Let me pop down here. So I can go from Baghdad to Damascus, then here, then here. That's my 3 maximum distance. But from Alexandria, I can go immediately by sea straight to Cordoba. So that actually would work. I think that's the faster route. The other route is to go the northern route, which would, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to get there. Or I could go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's actually shorter to go over land through Constantinople. I would end my first move in Constantinople, because it's exactly 3 moves over land to get there from here, which is probably what they want me to do. Okay, maybe that's what we do. It's 1 step closer to go that way. It's less travel by sea, which is slower for me at my current wealth level. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and push in here, and we'll do our little movement. We're going to go up to here. That's step 1. We're going to this spot, and then over to here. That's 2, and then 3 is Constantinople. So we'll put our little guy here standing on Constantinople. It's Alibaba there, and now underneath Constantinople it says it has the number 2. And it's a city location. So let's make sure we're doing this right. On your turn, read, check treasure and statuses. I don't have statuses or treasure because I'm just getting started. Move your character, which I have done. Resolve your encounter. Draw the top card from the encounter deck. Okay, I can do that. Yeah, and resolve the encounter by the type of card it is. But one moment, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything during setup. And one of the things I didn't do is I did shuffle the city cards, but I didn't deal 2 cards to each player. And I should have done that. So I'm going to draw 2 city cards off the top. And what I got was Lyon and Herat. Lyon was one of the cities I could have gone to, but I chose not to. So these would come in handy when I go to these locations. But at the moment, I haven't gotten to these locations yet, so there's nothing to do with those. But that's fine. I have them there in my hand. Fine. Let me check on something was I supposed to discard anything? Right. Okay. Yep. Wonderful. Okay, did it. Fine. Okay, great. That was the only thing I thought I maybe missed, and I did, so I'm glad I looked. So we've moved our character. Now we're going to resolve our first encounter. So I just draw off the top of this shuffled encounter deck, and I get a serpent. Okay, let's push in on this serpent so you can see what I'm talking about. I'll just use my player board for this. So this serpent has encounter numbers written on it depending on where I am. So because I'm on a city, I'm in Constantinople, I'm going to read 41 out of this giant book of tales. So 41. Now, draw the top card from the encounter. Resolve the encounter type by the type of card that is. If you arrived in a city from which you have a matching city card, you may play that card. I don't have the Constantinople card. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go to 41. Yeah. 41. Maybe that's matrix. Hold on. How do I resolve these? I want to make sure I don't mess this up because I've never done these before. Resolving encounters. Discover your encounter. The value. Okay, right. Yes. Okay. Discover your encounter. The first paragraph the reader turns to will usually be an encounter chart. Ah. Okay, so I'm going to encounter chart 41, not paragraph 41. Got it. Okay, so if I look down here, I'm on encounter chart 41. Now what do I do? It's got 12 things listed on it. Okay, chart shows 12 numbered entries. You now roll one die and add. Okay, so we're going to roll a die. By the way, game comes with these 3 dice. 2 of them are purple, and 1 of them is a special die with pluses, minuses, and blanks on them. We'll talk about that in just a second. So I'll roll one of these purple ones because it says to roll one with the numbers. I rolled a 1, okay. So I add the value of my die roll, a 1, the number printed under the terrain space my character is on. So I'm on Constantinople, which has a number 2. So I add that together. So far I'm at 3. Plus 1 if you have 3 or 4 destiny points. I don't have any destiny points right now. Or plus 2 if you have 5 or more. Okay, good to know. Okay, so I have a 3. So I'm going to look at the number 3, right? Okay, number 3 on this is Fine Beast, which is J. So now it has the letter J next to Fine Beast. So I'll come down here and I believe I have to decide from one of these options in column J. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah, okay. Choose your reaction. The encounter chart will direct the matrix reader to a reaction matrix. There are 17 matrices, each labeled with, with the letter A through Q, right? Got it? Uh-huh. Right. Find the adjective shown on the encounter chart in the left column. Wait, once you locate the correct reaction matrix, find the adjective shown in the encounter chart in the left-hand column. Oh, fine. Okay. So, because it says fine beast, J. Okay. The matrix reader would find the word terrible for the terrible storm. A number of reactions are listed in the top matrix. Terrible. I see. Oh, I'm in the matrix now. Got it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is what you do is you take that first word fine and you look at this other chart. And since I'm in column J, I would look on this chart, which I'll come down here. This is the reaction matrix. This all sounds really complicated, but it's the first time I'm doing it. It'll go quick later. So on this chart in J, fine is one of the options. So depending on what reaction I choose from column J, it will determine which paragraph I read. So I don't know what the numbers mean. Even looking at this, I don't know what the numbers mean. So it doesn't really matter. I do know that fine beast is now here. So this tells me where I'm turning, right? Interesting. So if I look on column J, I have the option of reacting by praying. I can study the fine beast, in this case, a serpent. I can try to capture the fine beast. I could try to attack it. I have no weapons that I'm aware of. I could follow it, aid it. I could ask it for help, or I could hide. I think I'm going to hide, actually. Okay, so I don't have a weapon. I'm really squishy. My first encounter, I'm going to hide from the serpent. So if I look on the reaction chart under fine, hiding says to read 868. Okay, 868 for hiding. All right, we now know what we're going to do, or what we're supposed to do, but let's see what it says. Right. You must choose one of these options as your reaction to encounter. The matrix reader will read all the options aloud. You must choose how you react to the person, event, or creature you have encountered. Yep. Okay, each reaction option on the reaction matrix has 3 possible result paragraphs. Once you have chosen your reaction, the matrix reader notes the number and you roll the destiny die. So I have 868, and now I roll this special die with the pluses and minuses on it. And it also has blanks. I got a minus, so 868 becomes 867. Okay. So now I read 867. Eight, 6, 7. There we go. You honor the other from a quiet hiding place. The other passes you by unnoticed, and I gain 1 destiny point. So I managed to hide successfully from the serpent, and for my troubles, I gained 1 destiny point. So what I've done is I've just simply gone up to the first destiny. Cool. So I didn't die. That's good. We don't like dying. All right. Now what do I do? I have done my encounter. I have read the thing. No statuses. By the way, a note on the word other in the Book of Tales. Since many paragraphs are used for encounters with multiple people or types of creatures, the specific person or creature is often not mentioned. The word other is used instead. Yeah, I like that. Reusable. Okay. Yeah. Very, very nice. Okay, what happens next? Resolve encounter, did that. Resolve quests. I have my quest. Okay, nothing going on there. Check for victory, I have not won. Change the time marker, end of the round only. How does time marker work in the solo game? Let's consult the Book of Solo Tales. It has a very specific yet very concise set of instructions for how to set up the solo game. When drawing cards from the encounter deck, draw 2 cards and choose the one you want. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, well, that's fine. I'm good with the serpent. Good to know. So when playing solo, I get to draw 2, pick 1. That's cool. In all cases where another player is supposed to be designated to make a decision, lose 1 destiny or story point, your choice, and make the decision yourself. Ooh. If you are told to request a card from another player, draw 1 from the appropriate deck instead. Okay. Pay close attention to the effect of statuses. Fine. Penalize yourself a story or destiny point of your choice each time you discover you have made a mistake. Ouch. If you have a master skill, when you read the 3 result paragraphs to check for your skills, instead of rolling the destiny die, you may ignore mandatory paragraphs. Wow. This does not apply to paragraphs in the Book of Solo Tales, since it does not use the destiny die. Got it. What I was reading all that for was, how do I determine what time it is, or when to change the time? It doesn't tell me. Well, I'll have to ask on the forum eventually how we change the time. Maybe the time doesn't matter in the solo game. I don't know. Okay, so since that is the case, we have done all of that. And then we just go again, I think. All right, cool. Well, we're still poor. We didn't gain anything from that encounter, but we also didn't get damaged from it either. So we're heading to the Balts, right? Let's pop in over here. Yeah. So we're trying to head up here to the Balts so that we can catch a boat ride to our quest island over here. So Constantinople is here, and I can travel by land. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, and now we'll be in the mountains. I think that's probably our best choice. Or we could stop early and end in the city instead. I don't know why we would want to do that versus the other. I don't know if it's more dangerous to be in the mountains of Europe. Well, we're in Constantinople. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. So if I go 1, 2, 3 and I enter the mountains, then it's 1 land and 2 sea. Yeah, let's enter the mountains. We're going to go into the mountains of Europe and hope to goodness, hope to Allah, that we do not encounter anything particularly nasty. Right. Book of Tales. Check treasure statuses. No, resolve. Okay. Drawing the 2. So this time I get to draw 2, pick 1. So we're going to draw 2 and pick 1. We are able to choose from either a thief or the islands of Camphor. I like this islands of Camphor business. We'll try that. A thief is fairly mundane. We're going to skip over that this time around. We're going to try this island of Camphor. Now, I am in the mountains, so I'm going to use 19. That's the terrain type I'm on. Okay. So, down to here. Yes. Okay. So, we're going to do 19. This time, this should go quicker, I hope. 19, and this time, Book of Tales, 19. Now that I understand this situation. Right. 19. And I use my, what was that again? That's the part I don't remember, is how do I choose? Yeah. Resolving encounters. Right. I roll a die. Roll a 5. Okay. And then I add the number on the terrain, which is 2. So that's a 7. Okay. I don't have enough destiny points to augment it the rest of the way. So it's a 7. Okay. So, oh, that's right. Okay. So we're at 19. And now I look at the list on 19 and I choose the 7th one, and it says multitudinous brigands. Not just a little brigand, a multitudinous brigand. Yikes. Okay. And it says I. So in I, multitudinous, my options are honor. I'm not going to honor brigands if I can get away with it. Or I can attack them. That would be stupid because I have no weapons and they're multitudinous. I can try to avoid them. I can aid them, rob them, follow them, question them, or pray to them, or pray about them. I'm trying to get my quest done, man. I know it's probably pretty boring, but I think I'm going to just try to avoid them. It's either that or follow them. Follow sounds interesting. That could be a little bit dicey, though. But the game does say that if you're unsure about what to do, choose the thing that's probably going to make for the best story. Well, I mean, the best story would be to attack them, but like that seems a little bit like I'm going to die pretty quick. So I think, I mean, follow them is a measured risk. They might discover me is the thing I'm worried about. I don't have stealth. I didn't choose the stealth capabilities. I have quick thinking, but I don't know if that's going to save me. It's early, man. I don't know. I seem real squishy right now. I feel like I'm just going to avoid them this time. See if I can at least get to the first marker before I die. So we're going to try avoiding. So it's in I, multitudinous, avoid is 973. Okay, 973. Now I roll the plus or minus die. And I rolled a plus, so it's 974. Okay, 974. Your caravan is beset from all sides by nomad raiders. There's one chance to escape, but you cannot take your possessions with you. Am I wise? No, I chose. So one of the things that I didn't talk about yet, because it hadn't really come up, is in this book, there are conditions based on the skills that you have. In my case, remember, I chose weapon use, quick thinking, and seduction. In 974, the options either are you have no skill that's relevant to the situation, or you have wisdom. In my case, I'm not wise. I didn't choose wisdom. I chose quick thinking instead. I probably should have chose wisdom, but I was curious. I don't have wisdom. I don't have a skill, and I'm not wealth equals rich or greater. I don't have the wealth. So I'm going to say no skill. And I don't, so it says, you cannot bear to leave so much wealth behind. Your final stand is bold but short. The bandits take your goods, but spare your life. I can only be poor. It says minimum poor. Well, I'm already poor, so that works great for me. It says reduce your wealth by 2, minimum of poor. Well, I'm already poor, so actually this was great for me. But I did gain a destiny point, so that's good. Oh, now it does say wounded. Let's check on that. Yeah, read the paragraph, right? Statuses are written in bold. I gained the wounded status. So there's a deck of status cards. And I've separated it out by letter because it's easier to get to things quickly. At least I'm supposed to be able to get to it quickly. No, that does not have wounded in it. Well, that's odd. Is it a solo status? I don't think so, because this is not the solo status, the solo book. Why don't I have wounded? Diseased. Poor, wounded. Okay. Well, I became wounded, but I don't know how to describe that. Or grief-stricken, envious, enslaved. No. Huh. Why don't I have the wounded card? That's very strange. I don't have a token that says wounded. I was expecting to find a status card called wounded, and I don't see it. Interesting. Let me check the solo statuses. I can't imagine it's in here, because these are all tied to the quests that I'm on, so it's not there. Sure. That's very strange. There's another deck of statuses up here. What are these? This is the same thing, I thought. Let me check in here. Wounded. Why is this here? That's, oh, because there's 3 of them. Okay, fine. All right, that was my bad. I thought these were identical decks, but they are not. So I have gained the wounded status. Let's read that. Wounded. You have been wounded In battle or through an accident of fate. Effect, lose the use of the following skills until this status is lost. So I can't use my weapon use. That's dead. I'm going to flip it over to remind myself. I can't use seduction. That's gone. But I still get to use my quick thinking. All right, so how do I get rid of the wounded status? At the start of your turn, instead of a normal encounter, you may encounter a barber to heal your wound. Roll 1 die and add the terrain number. Roll the destiny die to modify the paragraph. Okay, so I still do that. All right, so I think next turn I will do an attempt to heal my wounds instead. All right. I'll be on the sea, though, I think. No, I'll actually be there by then. Huh. Okay, well. So I'm wounded. What else do I do? Is that it? I think that's it, because nothing has changed. There's no quest to resolve. Okay. So I'm wounded, and I've lost some use of my skills. I'm going to keep the wounded card over here to remind myself. And the Islands of Camphor is discarded. That was an interesting card. Right. Back to here. We are up here as a reminder. And we want to get over to the island. So we're in the mountains. So we're going to step to the Balts. Then we're going to sail for 2 because I can sail. So here's that first example of a blended movement. So I'm starting in the mountains. I'm doing a land move, right? How far do I get to move? Well, on my player board, it says I can move up to 3 by land and 2 by sea. So I can move a maximum of 3, but only 2 of those movements can be by sea. So because the sea is the slowest of the travel, and if I'm mixing them, I can only go up to the maximum of the slowest that I'm using. So in this case, I'm using 1 by land and 2 by sea. 1 to get off the mountains and over to Balts, and then 2 by sea to get to the island that my quest is pushing us to. So that is a legal move because I'm not going any more than 2 by sea, and I'm only going 1 by land, which is all I need. So I will go from mountains, and I'll go 1 to Balts, 2, which is my first by sea, and then 2, which is my second by sea, over to this island. Okay, now what's not 100% clear to me is what do I do with this solo quest? Let's look at the solo quest. SQ 600, was it? 6. Okay, yeah. I believe I am supposed to milestones. Is there a thing in here about milestones? I don't know if that's a solo thing or not. Oh, by the way, book encounter. The book includes this amazing, like, 2-page, full-page example turn that steps you through exactly what you do. Very, very good. That's, by the way, one of the best things about that book. Okay, let me go to the front here and talk about milestones. Does it say anything about milestones? Each solo quest uses a milestone marker to mark the progress through your quest. In many paragraph awards, you will be informed where to place the milestone. These markers relate to locations you must reach in order to progress through the quest. When you reach a location with a milestone marker, do not draw an encounter card. Look up the milestone marker for the solo quest you are in and determine which paragraph you must read. Do not roll the destiny die. Then remove the milestone marker from the map. Okay. I see. So milestone 1 is 601, as expected. So we're just going to read that instead of drawing a card, which means I don't get to heal. Not good. That could be bad. We'll see how it goes. Milestone 1, the Church of Ireland. After many months of travel, you come to the island to which the dervish directed you. Ireland, deep within the infidel domains. It is a strange land with an incomprehensible tongue. Not even the languages you learned in the other infidel lands are spoken here. However, you quickly find a native guide who speaks a little Arabic and who offers to be your companion as you travel through their homeland. You gratefully accept, and you set out to find the church to which the dervish directed you. You travel for several days in Ireland, amazed at the beauty of the land. All of the hills and the plains are covered in thick grass, and trees hanging with fruit grow in the forests everywhere. There is frequent rain, and the temperature is cool and calming, like a balm. You find the church, a small enclosed stone building covered in engraved portraits of men and women. You still find the infidel practice of portraiture unsettling, especially on churches. The idea of an artist recreating the semblance of mankind has always seemed blasphemous, and the idea of images of God and those in heaven goes beyond blasphemy. Even outside of the engravings, you prefer the mosques of the faithful open to the sky. You determine from your native guide that the holy day of the Christians is the next day, and on that day, all of the people of the nearby town will come here to worship. You can, option 1, investigate the church now. 2, come back tomorrow to witness the worship service. 3, return here this evening without the guide to investigate. Let's witness this service. Yeah, let's go to SQ 603. We're going to witness the service. That's our choice. On the next day, you return to witness the service of the church. Now, if I have skills, I can use them. I don't have piety or wisdom, so I can't use that. So therefore, I'm just going to read the no skill paragraph. Once again, wisdom, not having wisdom, which was one of the choices I almost picked, is hurting me here. I don't know if it's a hurt or not. We'll find out. Maybe it's not a problem. Welcome in, by the way. The people of the nearby town file into the church, and you join them inside. The priest speaks for a great while in a language that is not the speech of the Irish, and the people seem not to understand the words. At various points, they sing, kneel, stand, beat their breasts, and otherwise make a show of their faith. At the climax of the service, which your guide calls gathering or coming together, the people approach the priest to take from him small pieces of bread dipped in wine to eat. You are not allowed to approach the priest, nor would you wish to. Soon after, the service is ended. Afterwards, you and your companion remain to look at the church. There is a mosaic displayed on one wall showing a file of people entering a church. Inscribed on the church are words which read, quote, "The paradise which is of the earth," end quote. You ask who made the mosaic, and you are told that it was from a design by a Byzantine artist, Theophilus, actually. You resolve to meet this artist. So the next day you set out for Constantinople, home of the Byzantine emperor. I gain a destiny, so I'm up to 3 now. I now get a +1 on my encounter die roll. Cool. At least I think that's good. And I also gain 1 story point, so I'm finally on the board for the story points. And then milestone 2, Constantinople, and I move my quest marker up 1. So I'm at 1 on the quest track. And I put milestone 2 on Constantinople. So we're going back the way we came. Very interesting. Do I go the other way just for fun and profit? It's not faster, I don't think. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's not faster. It's longer, actually. I think we just go back the way we came. So let's go back to the mountains of Europe. right? Makes the most sense. So 1, 2, 3. We go right back to where we were before. Now, we're in the mountains. We have the choice. We can either engage with the encounter like normal, or we can try to heal our wounds. I think we're going to try to heal our wounds. I'd love to be able to do that. At the start of your turn, let's see, roll 1 die and add the train number. The train number is 2. So I'm going to roll 1 die. I roll the 5 again, so that's a 7. Wicked, oh boy. 271, 2721. But I do roll the die to modify the paragraph. I get a +1 on my encountered die roll. Oh, wait. So it's not 7, it's 8. It's rural. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so we're going to roll the modifier. Does not modify. That's actually good because it moves me from wicked to rural, and if I had gotten a negative, it would have bumped me back to wicked again. I don't know if that's good or bad, but wicked sounds worse than rural, and I'd like a good healer if I can. So 2732. 27, that's way in the back. 2732. Almost there. Okay. Okay, 2732. This barber is very good for one who mustn't get many customers. Lose wounded. Hey, that's nice and straightforward. I like it. We like them rural barbers, apparently. That's great. So now I have my skills back. I get weapon use and I get seduction back again. Okay. So that was it. I don't do an encounter this round. So now we move on because there's no other anything to do. Yeah, great. 1, 2, 3, back to Constantinople. And now, because we are back in our solo, we are going to look at milestone 2, which is SQ05, 605 rather, SQ605. Okay. Milestone 2, the mad artist. If you are not frustrated, I am not frustrated, go to paragraph 606. If you are frustrated, go to 607. I am not frustrated. I have not had anything happen to me that tells me that I have received that solo status of frustrated. So, you come to Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire, home of the Roman Emperor and truly the heart of the world of the Christians. It is a sprawling city, almost as splendid as Baghdad, and the towers and domes of its churches are almost as beautiful as the mosques of the City of Peace. You spend many days in the marketplace and in the drinking houses trying to find the artist Theophilus. Eventually you discover that he is a favorite of the emperor and spends his days and nights within the palace, rarely venturing forth from his apartments therein. Go to paragraph 608. You still wish to learn more from the artist, so you can, 1, hire a scribe to write a message to the artist. 2, pose as a visitor and try to see the artist. 3, bring a gift to the artist and try to arrange a meeting. I don't have any income to get said gift, and if I take that, I'm afraid that I will lose what little income I have and become penniless or a beggar just to get the gift. But if I hire a scribe, I'm also going to have to spend money because I'm hiring someone. But if I just pose as a visitor and go to the palace, they're not going to let me in. But the title of this milestone says the mad artist. Hiring a message is probably not going to get through to somebody who's a little bit not square mentally. So maybe trying to bring a gift will soften this artist a little. Let's try to bring a gift. SQ611. You search the bazaar for a gift to bring to the artist. Do I have luck, determined, or fate skills? I do not. No skill. You find little of great interest or novelty, so you decide to make a gift of your own belongings. You send the gift to the artist with a short letter seeking to discuss the earthly paradise, and quickly comes back a response. Your gift has been accepted in the spirit of charity in which it was sent, says the letter, but unfortunately, Theophilus is deep in labor over a mosaic to decorate the privy chamber of the empress and will not be available for at least 12 months. He does wish you the best of luck in your life and tells you that you should seek the monks in the monastery of the Bitter Mountains between Herat and Samarkand. I'm probably not saying that right. Samarkand. Wait, Herat might be one of my city cards. Hold on. It is. All right. Yes, go with grace of God, the letter concludes. With a deep sense of being made the fool, you set out for the Bitter Mountains. Well, I don't think I was being made the fool, but all right, I thought that was a pretty nice response. I gain 1 destiny. I gain 1 story. By the way, now I'm 1 step away from getting a +2 on my encounter die rolls. That's cool. Choice of -2 minimum poor, which is great. I'm already poor. Or lose 1 treasure, milestone 3, Bitter Mountains. Okay. Well, it doesn't really matter because I don't have a treasure to lose and I can't get any poorer. So, I mean, I can get poorer, but according to this, it's not going to make me any poorer. So we're just going to stay where we are and we move to the next milestone, which is milestone 3. And that is the Bitter Mountains, space east of Herat. Okay, Herat is over here, east of Herat. Okay. Well, we have city card Herat. That's cool. Now let's take a look at getting there. We're in Constantinople. Herat's over here to the, like in this general area. So we want to head that way. Well, 3 moves by land is Hamadan. It's a city, which is nice. And then getting to Herat is going to be a bit circuitous. I think it's the only way to do it, though. So then after Hamadan, we'd go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, I like it. So we can get from Constantinople to Hamadan in 1 move. So we're going to do that. Or in 1 turn, rather. All right, so we are healed up. We're in Hamadan. We're heading towards Herat. And we just encounter carded it, right? What's my other city? Lyon, way over there. Okay, we're probably not going back over there again. But we'll see what happens. So we draw the first encounter card, see what we get. We got, oh wait, we just have to do 2 because it's solo. So we have our choice between Crystal Palace and Ne'er-do-well. We've never done a person, we've always done these locations, but I'm in a city and it says keep for a later turn to encounter matrix N. Crystal Palace. Keep for a later turn to encounter matrix N. I'm just inclined to do that because I'm very curious what that is. Let's look at that for a moment, as I've never encountered that. So let's find out what happens when you have something like that. Okay, terrain encounter cards. If you draw a terrain encounter card, you must determine what kind of terrain your character is in. I'm currently in a city. At the bottom of the card, you'll find a paragraph number with each type of terrain. Read the paragraph indicated by the terrain. If it's an N, you have encountered what is illustrated on the card and will be directed to reaction matrix N to choose a reaction. You are not in a terrain, if you are, okay. Keep for a later turn. What does that mean? Let's see. Here's the example. This character moved to a sea space, draws magnetic mountain card. Reader would read paragraph 2. After resolving this paragraph, Sinbad can keep the card or discard it. Oh. Oh, I see. If he were to keep it, then on a subsequent turn, if he ends his movement on a mountain space, he can choose to discard this card to the encounter card discard pile to encounter them. I see. I did that wrong. I should have probably done that with the Islands of Camphor, but I didn't. I instead chose it as a reaction, as a standard encounter. That's okay. I'm learning. So what I have determined, though, in reading that, is that because I'm on a city, I can encounter this right now. In fact, that's exactly what happens. I encounter the Crystal Palace at Hamadan. Okay, so reaction matrix N. Is this the reaction matrix? Yeah. N is back here. Okay. And this one has a very specific list of stuff. This has all the different types of encounters that you might find in these terrains. So this one specifically says Crystal Palace. Okay, so column N on my player board is here. And I can choose to avoid, pray, attack, bargain, examine, enter, seek aid, or aid. I'm thinking either examine or enter. I haven't done anything really extravagant yet, so I think I'm going to try to enter the Crystal Palace. This might be a bad idea, but it seems like a fun thing to try. So we're going to try to enter the Crystal Palace. N. Crystal Palace, entering 1175. Now, it doesn't say whether or not I get to roll the I don't think I do roll the destiny die. Well, I'll get to 1175 first. And we'll see if there is obviously a difference. No. Okay. 1174. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can. Okay. Crystal Palace 1175. Okay. So there's 1175. I haven't read anything yet. I'm going to roll the destiny die. I get a +1 on my encounter. Oh, that's encounter. I don't get a +1. I just get plus or minus on this. Okay, so I guess I just rolled this and it's a plus or a minus. So I got nothing, so it's 1175 straight up. You hear cries of distress from a person standing in the uppermost window. Looking up, you see her visage is like unto the sun upon water. Ebony horse, flying carpets. I do not have those skills. No skills. You are turned aside by the guard at every attempt to enter and never manage to enter the palace. Oh, I lose 1 destiny. So now I'm down to 3. That sucks, but I gain 1 story, which now gives me a +1 wealth. So we go up to respectable. Nice. I get to move a little faster now. Okay. Crystal Palace. Didn't get hurt, though. That's nice. Okay, so next step was we're trying to get to Herat, right? So we are going to go down here. Up here, then down here, then here to Zarandaj. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay, another encounter card. Draw 2, pick 1. Whoa, those are our choices. We've got Elephant Graveyard or Volcano. Do I want to save either of those for later? That's pretty tough. Here we are. We're close to our story quest marker 3. Keep for a later turn. So how does keeping for a later turn work? What do I do in that scenario, you know? Is that it? You just keep it? You don't resolve anything else? I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to keep the volcano. Elephant Graveyard doesn't seem interesting to me. Maybe I should think about that, but that is what it is. Okay, we're about to use our first city card. And by the way, the volcano, you use matrix N again when you're on an island space. So if I find myself on an island space, we'll resolve the volcano at that time. Okay, so we're about to use our first city space because we're on Zarandaj now. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Now, I didn't stop in Herat. I could stop in Herat because I have this city card. That could be good. How does city cards work? Good question. I don't know. Let's find out. Skills, status, wealth, the map, credits. City cards. Give you an opportunity to earn special awards if you can reach a specific city during your travels. During your movement phase, if you end your movement in a city that matches a city card you have, instead of drawing an encounter card, you may play the matching city card. Let's do it. So we're going to end a little early. We're going to go to Zarandaj, and we're not going to go all the way to our story quest. We're going to stop in Herat because we have the Herat city card. So I'll stick that up here, and we'll figure out, I'll put this sideways, and we'll see if I can squeak out all of my options. We can. Cool. All right. So there's the Herat card that I was dealt randomly at the start of the game. And I roll a d6, and I decide, and that determines what happens. Is that correct? Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. This one's to receive things or gain things. Nothing here says, oh, there is an encounter if I roll a 6, but we'll see what happens. I rolled a 5. Wow. I rolled a 5, so I gain 3 wealth. Holy crap. Which in this case means I only go up to rich because it says max rich. So it's 1 step. It's fine. I'm happy with that. I'm rich now. We're rich. Kind of wish I would have gotten seamanship. That would have been nice. Or a treasure. I haven't dealt a single treasure to myself at all. I would have been able to gain wisdom if I had rolled a 4. Ooh. That wisdom seems to be used all over the place, at least for the stuff I've seen so far. Okay. Well, either way, that was fun. We got a little free upgrade. That was neat. Okay, next turn, we're just going to do a quick move straight from Herat to story point number 3. Okay, trucking right along. So we go to our matrix, milestone 3, SQ 612. Milestone 3, the Bitter Monastery. After your long sojourn in the lands of the infidel, you are greatly relieved to be among the people of the faith again. You have traveled hard to reach the Bitter Mountains, and after weeks of searching, you have found the monastery you have sought. This land is far from paradise, though. The mountain upon which the monastery is built is sheer and hard, with no blade of grass growing anywhere in sight. You ascend the winding path to the monastery by a staircase cut into the rock. Alone and on foot, with only the clothing you wear, the climb takes much of the day, and the wind becomes fierce as you approach the top. More than once, you fear that you will be blown from the stairs and meet Allah in his paradise before your time. Eventually, the last stair is behind you, and you stand before the open gate of the monastery. You step inside the rough stone walls and stand in the small open space within. Carved out from the sheer stone of the mountain is a honeycomb of caves. There is no other construction. You call out a greeting, and your voice echoes off the mountainside. Eventually, a man steps forward from one of the caves. He is clad only in cloth around his waist, protecting his modesty. You are dressed in thick wool, and you feel the cold of the mountainside, but he seems comfortable in his nakedness. His lips work vigorously, but no sound reaches your ears, and he walks past you without seeing. I can either wait and see what he does, enter the cave he just left, hail him in the name of Allah. I will wait to see what he does. 613. You stand aside, observing him. You see that he heads for a path which had previously been hidden from your sight. And if you follow him along it, as it winds still further up the mountain. Oh, that's what I do. Okay, got it. As you follow, the wind becomes still more intense, and you lose your footing several times. You always catch yourself before you fall. The man you follow has no difficulty maintaining his step, though, and you are losing sight of him in the blowing wind. Eventually, you are alone on the side of the mountain with only the path stretching before you and behind you. You understand that your life hangs by a thread as fragile as the vein in your neck. You can continue or turn back. I will continue. 614. You continue on the howling wind, in the howling wind. It grows louder in your ears until you can no longer hear even the sound of your own footsteps, and you keep your head downcast to keep your eyes from the stinging wind. You continue on for what seems like hours, until eventually no longer hear the sound battering your ears or see the path beneath your feet. Eventually, even your sense of the movement of your feet ceases to be, and you are suspended in between here and there, neither moving forward nor moving backward. In that moment, you look up, and you are standing before the gate of the monastery again. Before you stands the mendicant who you followed upon the path. He smiles and speaks to you thusly. To him shall you all return. Allah's promise shall be fulfilled. You find you cannot speak, but make clear to him by signs that you do not understand. He goes on, to seek a thing is not to seek him. To glorify a thing is not to glorify him. To follow a thing is not to follow him. But to seek him, to glorify him, to follow him, these will endure. Still, you do not understand and make clear by signs. He says, go to the holy city, and when you see the Lord therein, you will understand. You descend from the mountain and don the green turban. You will go to Mecca. Gain 2 destiny. We now get +2 encounter die roll. Okay. Gain 1 story. Okay, almost to an upgrade. Oh, I almost got enduring hardship, but I didn't. So because I don't have piety or enduring hardship, I did not receive the status of blessed, unfortunately. Oh, hold on. I'm not sure how to read that actually. Milestone 4 is Mecca, so let's set that as the if I can find Mecca. Where is Mecca? There it is. Okay. So we've got Mecca. I'll show that to you in a minute. So we're going to Mecca. We know that. Quest +3. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. I think. How do I read that? I'm not sure I know how to read that. New statuses and treasures. These will be awarded or lost, determined by various paragraphs. These can help or hinder you during the quest. When you are awarded a quest-specific status or treasure, place it in front of you. Quest-specific treasures listed in the rewards are underlined. Oh. I wish I knew how to read this. Okay, I got those points. That is strange. It's very the markup on this is difficult to parse sometimes. Okay, yeah. Quick thinking, got it. Skills, right. One moment. Here we are. This is what I was looking for. Reading the result paragraph. Some result paragraphs will have lists of skills after them. We'll explain that a little later on. For now, look at the end of the paragraph. The cryptic code appears in brackets. It will look something like this. This list of rewards received for the encounter, they are to be resolved left to right, and the slashes indicate a separation of information, not a choice. Okay. Oh, I gain these. Is that what this means? Skills are written in all caps. In this example, the character gains the storytelling skill. Oh, so I gain all of these things. So I gained piety, so now I am pious. Okay, cool. I get more skills. That's fun. I also get enduring hardship. That's also fun. Okay. So I get all of these things, and I become blessed. Oh. Solo status, is that one of these? Nope, it's just a regular status. Okay. Well, I didn't know I got all these things. That's fun. Blessed. Okay. And blessed says, can you read all of that? Not quite. I'll push it up a little bit. Okay, there we go. Blessed says, you have the protection and blessing of a patron as well as the blessing of the most powerful of all. Effect, you may immediately lose one status of your choice. I don't need to lose any statuses because I don't have anything negative. Whenever you are about to roll 1 or 2 dice, not the destiny die, You may choose what number to use. You may consult the Book of Tales beforehand. Use that number instead of rolling. After saying what number you will use, roll the same quantity of dice you were to roll. If the number you roll is more than one away from the number you chose, you lose this status. Alternatively, if you become accursed, you also lose this status. Interesting. So it's a bit of a push your luck situation. I'm blessed, gives me some control over what happens, but if what I roll is too far away from what I chose, I lose the blessing. Well, that is interesting. Right. Well, so let's push out a little bit here. Oh, that's actually perfect. So you see I am on the mountains outside of Herat, and I'm trying to get to Mecca. And now I need to figure out the fastest way to get there. Well, one, two, hold on. Is sailing faster? I'm not certain. I could get to Suchao up here in Asia and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to Mecca. Or I can go across land again, like I did before. And I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's faster by 2. Or I can do a mixture. But sailing, well, I'm rich now, so sailing is not as hard as it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So not even that. So I think it's just walking it. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Puts me on the mountains outside of Zaranj. I like it. Okay. Our other city was Leon, which is on the other side of the map. All right. Encounter card time. Draw 1. Draw 2. 2 physical locations. We have Enchanted Spring or Magnetic Mountain. Magnetic Mountain, I would encounter now because I'm in the mountains. I like that. I like these kind of fun Magnetic Mountain cards. These are cool. So let's take a look, though, for a minute. We get +2 on our encounter die roll. Okay, so what that means is we're going to take this, we're going to roll this, and we're going to add 2 to it. So that is a 6 + 2, which is 8. And what else do I add to it? I forget. Value die roll, number, print. Oh, the terrain I'm on, which is now 2, so that's a 10. And okay, so 10. Got it. So we are doing what? So it's a 10. We are going to the magic, which is encounter card N. Got it. Okay. Do I still roll that die? Do I even roll the die? I think I do. Just totally blanked on that situation. Why do I roll the die normally? That part is a little bit hard to parse sometimes, keeping track of this process. And maybe it's not for everybody else, but for me, for some reason, it is. In typical encounter card, oh, and that's because I would normally be flipping to this matrix in the front here. So 10 would be there, but I'm not doing that because I'm not doing a standard thing. I'm just going straight to the decision matrix of n. And that is, I still roll the destiny though, I believe. Yeah, that part's not terribly clear. Like, in the book, do I still roll all of the, for these matrix n things? How do I resolve this? Rather than draw an encounter card. Okay. Well, what do I want to do with Magnetic Mountain? Do I want to avoid it, pray to it, or about it, attack it, bargain, examine, enter, seek aid, or aid? I think I'll examine Magnetic Mountain. We're going to examine Magnetic Mountain. $12.11. Now, $12.11, the last time I looked at one of these, they had a lot of different options, and I don't understand how you would get to them physically without doing the full die roll situation. Yeah, there's just a lot of Magnetic Mountain. Because if I go 12-11 and I do my plus or minus 1, then I would be at either 12-10 or 12-12. But there's other ones that are more than that. And I'm like, how do you reach that unless you're rolling the die to adjust it? Unless you're rolling one of the other dice, because where's the additional pluses or minuses? I think I'm missing something when it comes to these land cards. I wish this example in the terrain encounter card explained how to resolve them. Well, whatever. I chose examine, and that might be what all it is that it's different numbers for the different things. So 12-11 is what I chose. So we're going to go 1211. The people of this land seek a hero to end the threat of the magnetic mountain. It is said that if the giant brass bell at its top were destroyed, the mountain would lose its power. You volunteer to undertake this deed. No skill, brass bow rather, or scholarship. I don't have brass bow or scholarship, so no skill. You approach cautiously, sadly and painfully. The keys of some unfortunate travelers strike you and knock you senseless. You abandon your heroics, but take the keys as you depart. I gain 1 destiny, up at 6, and /100 keys. Is that a treasure? Probably. Yep, it is. I gained a treasure. My first treasure of the game. Okay, 100 keys says... this ring of keys unlocks the palace of 100 closets, but you may open all the doors save the 100th. Do not unlock the 100th door. You may not receive the imprisoned status while you have the keys. Wow. Very, very teeny tiny fine print at the bottom that says, you notice that all the various keys, each a marvel of excellent workmanship, are clean and well used, except for the 100th key, which is tarnished with neglect. You know that this collection of keys would probably let you open any lock you come across, even a prison door. So I can't be locked up while I have this treasure. Very cool. Now it says max wealth level poor. What's that about? Do I not get this treasure because I am too rich? Let's look at treasures. Treasures. Yes. Okay. Treasures can be sold whenever you end your turn in a city after your encounters, if any, or resolving a city card. If you sell a treasure, discard it to gain an amount of wealth level printed in the gold coin on the top, noting the maximum wealth level you can gain printed at the bottom of the card. Oh, so when I sell it, I can only get to health level poor. So I won't go up in level unless I'm a beggar or penniless. It won't help me to sell the keys. That's what it's telling me. Oh, all right. Or at least it won't let me change my wealth level. Okay. Well, that was fascinating. Now we are trying to get to Mecca. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I can do that in one move. 1, 2, 3, 4. There was not really a reason to stop at any of those. The only other city card I have is over there, so that's not going to help me. So we stop off in Mecca. No reason not to. So now we go to the solo book. And we go milestone 4. 620. Okay. Milestone 4. Before the Kaaba. You have arrived in Mecca, the holy city, where the angel Gabriel gave unto the prophet Muhammad, without whom Allah had not made the world, the verses known as the Quran, the city which every Muslim desires to see before their death. You have come not in the season of the main pilgrimage, but nonetheless, have come in the spirit of true pilgrim. Do I have skill seeking wisdom? I do not. Okay, no skill. You approach the Kaaba with the deference due to the holiest of shrines of the one God, and you pray devoutly there. You feel the Spirit of God move within you, but it is only a fleeting sensation, and quickly you return to the world. Go to paragraph 621. 621. As you leave the region of the Kaaba, you notice a strange sight. A fakir, a holy beggar, walking down the street. Behind him trails a black dog, constantly biting at his heels, but never quite striking him. You watch as the fakir continues on, heedless of the dog, until finally the dog strikes his heel, drawing blood. No one else but you seems to notice this strange sight. You can run and attack the dog, or chase the dog away from the fakir. I will chase the dog away from the fakir. Go to paragraph 623. You chase the dog from the fakir. The dog does not scare easily away from the fakir, but instead redoubles its efforts to bite the man. But always it seems to miss its victim, biting into the air. In turn, you redouble your efforts to chase the dog off. I have quick thinking, so I can finally use one of my skills. One of the options is the quick thinking option. You think of a trick and grab a honeyed seed cake from your pockets. You hold it before the nose of the dog and it bites at the cake, but you are too quick and pull it away. Then, sure to have the dog's attention, you throw the cake a distance away and the dog goes chasing after it. The fakir finally notices you with this and he laughs. That dog is my nafs, my evil soul given form by Allah. You are the first to have seen it beside myself, and you have driven it from me for a few minutes. What can I offer you as thanks? You ask him if he knows of the earthly paradise, and he nods vigorously. When I was young, I dwelled in the glowing forest of Asia, far north of Samarkand. There was established a village of the faithful, who sought to create a garden that would present the world a model of the paradise that awaited Muslims after their judgment if they were true to God. I was so inspired by their behavior that I renounced all evil thoughts and have devoted myself to the devotion of the all-powerful one God. If you seek the earthly paradise, you will find it. And if you care to enter it, you will be allowed to. Be it known, though, that this wondrous garden is not the greatest of Allah's wonders. With this, he says a blessing for you, and you turn to set out for the glowing forest, finally on the road to the earthly paradise. Gain 2 destiny. Now we're up to 8. Gain 2 story points. Oh, choice of 1 talent level skill. Okay, I think I gain a new skill. We'll get to that in a minute. I am blessed already, so I don't get blessed again. Milestone 5 is in the glowing forest. I'm looking for the glowing forest. Where do I find that? Forest space west of the Cave of Wonders. Oh, got it. West of the Cave of Wonders. That doesn't make any sense. That's east of the Cave of Wonders. Forest space. I think they mean the one outside of, or right next to the Cave of Wonders. There's Cave of Wonders. Like, actually, this is Cave of Wonders. I believe it's this. Because there's no, if you look, there's no other forest locations west of that. That's really weird. Forest space west of the Cave of Wonders. I mean, truly west of would be one of these two. I'll go with this 6 because I don't know what else to do. Because Cave of Wonders is technically, I don't know. That seems odd. But this seems hard to get to. I might as well just do that. It seems odd to use the same space as what points to the Cave of Wonders, so, or from the Cave of Wonders. So I'm just going to have to make a call. Okay, so now does sailing make sense, or do I still walk it? Because I'm walking back and forth across the continent here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Probably still makes sense. We're at Mecca, though, so we could maybe try to sail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I got to travel all that. I don't think it makes sense to sail. So we're going to walk it again. We are rich, so I can still move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're here. Back to the mountains. Okay. We'll come down there so you can see. So there we are. We're in the mountains, heading back into the forest of Asia. Okay. 2 encounter cards. Oh, we got one of the 2 places of power. No, places of wonder, I believe. Places of wonder. Valley of the Diamonds or Princesses. Notice that the collector's edition has these rainbow foil effect on these fancy places of wonder cards. That is obviously what we're going to do. I could encounter the princess, but like, come on. There's only 2 of these in the encounter deck entirely. So what happens when I encounter one of these? Good question. We go to places of power. Yep. You may have an encounter that will reveal one of these mysterious places. Some encounters in the Book of Tales will award you with an opportunity to enter a particular place of power. If you earn one of these opportunities, place your destination marker on the place of power mentioned in the Book of Tales. While your destination marker is on the place of power, you may move there with normal movement, just like a normal space. If you use this opportunity to enter the place of power, your movement for the return ends. Okay. Well, since I drew it, I think that gives me the opportunity. So we're going to place our destination on the Valley of Diamonds, which is actually nearby. So I think we're just going to take a circuitous route to our next milestone. We're going to go out around this way instead, and we'll pop off to the Valley of Diamonds. Following the arrow backwards. Okay, so from there, so we're here, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. I can do that in one move. Okay, so I guess I don't have an encounter this round. I just got the card. So that's it, which is odd because, like, yeah, I guess you just don't have an encounter this round. There's no other way to describe that. So, here we go. Oh, I see. No. Place in power. If you draw a place of power encounter card, you are taken directly to a paragraph number. Oh, okay. So I drew the card, therefore I just do the encounter straight up. I don't. Okay, great. I'm glad I kept flipping. Right, 2702. Now, you may want to fast forward this part if you are watching this on YouTube, because there's not very many of these. So this one might be particularly spoilery. If you don't care, if you're just interested in watching, by all means, please do. But if you're thinking about buying this game, I just don't want to ruin it for you. So this should be over quickly. In fact, here's what I'll do. To make it easy, I'll put the card here, like here. And as soon as you fast forward and that card's not there, we're done. We've resolved this information, and then you won't have the spoiler. Okay, here we go. Time to look away if you don't want to know. 3, 2, 1. Thief! Thief! A woman screams, pointing to a young man running past you, carrying a small embroidered pouch. I have some skills. I have weapon use or enduring hardship. I have both. I don't know that I want to use my weapon, though. I'm not going to read what's next until I decide which skill I'm using. Like, he's a kid, he's a thief. I don't know that I want to use a weapon on him, right? I'll do, well, no skill and enduring hardship are the same. Yeah. I'll use weapon use. Hopefully I don't hurt the kid, but I want to use weapon use because I want to get the special thing. So, weapon use. You jump in front of the thief and stay him with the end of your sword. You return the bag to the woman. She gives you a small diamond from the pouch and whispers a whispered secret as a reward. But I'm already rich, so I don't get the diamond. That's all right. I do get the opportunity to enter the Valley of Diamonds. But wait, I thought that's what I was just doing. Okay, how do I enter the Valley of Diamonds? Well, I mean, that gave me the opportunity, so that's great. But then what do I do once I actually want to encounter it? Opportunity to enter the Valley of Diamonds. Is that a special, like, end tier reaction thing? No. Valley of Diamonds is not on this list. How do I enter the Valley of Diamonds? Like, let's say I go there. Fine, but then what do I do? That is so strange. Maybe there's something in the front of the book about Valley of Diamonds? Valley of Diamonds, glossary of unfamiliar creatures. Aha, Stonehenge, Cave of Wonders. Ah, here we are. Valley of Diamonds. Okay, it doesn't tell me what page number to use. The book doesn't include the page number, but I found it. It's here, so I won't read it until I go there, which is next, but that's okay. We got the encounter out of the way. Unfortunately, I couldn't get richer than rich. The princely must have some very interesting requirements. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4 is my next move, which puts me in the Valley of Diamonds. All right, so we have made it to the Valley of Diamonds. Now I will read Valley of Diamonds, which I should have just left open, but here we are. Valley of Diamonds. You know this place from tales of great antiquity. This valley is known to contain two things: huge diamonds of incalculable value and tiny serpents of incredible deadliness. To get the diamonds, merchants throw animal carcasses into the valley. At sunup, giant rocks carry the carcasses back up the mountainside to eat. The merchants then frighten the rocks away and remove the diamonds stuck in the meat. There are legends of brave men who have walked the valley and lived, but you fear they are only legends. You have come through secret ways to the lower portion of the valley, where your heart leaps at the sight of giant diamonds and quails at the sight of the deadly serpents. You may choose one, then roll the destiny die using the chart below. Choice 1, sneak past the serpents, collect as many diamonds as possible, and sneak back the way you came. Or choice 2, grab whatever diamonds you can, then wait for an animal carcass to fall, hide in the body until a rock brings you out and a merchant rescues you. Or slay all the serpents that live in the valley, making it safe for men to walk. Perhaps Allah will grant you success in this. Ooh. And now I have a chart, and it's just numbers, it's just paragraph numbers to go and read. Do I sneak around and sneak out? I don't really have sneaking. I do have weapon use, though. Grab whatever diamonds you can, then wait for an animal carcass to fall. So that's going to be more like hiding. Screw it. Maybe I die. Maybe I die here, and that's fine. If that's what it is, we're going to try to slay all the serpents that live in the valley, making it safe for men to walk. All right, here we go. We're going to roll the plus or minus die. And it's a plus, so we're going to read 1360. You stride through the valley, slaying serpents as you go. You rescue an old man from a great serpent. You learn that he is the Sultan of this land, thrown here by his wicked vizier, who now rules in his stead. You agree to help the Sultan regain his kingdom. That story sounds familiar. No skill or quick thinking. I have quick thinking. You powder the Sultan's body and hide him in the vizier's bedroom. The vizier sees a ghost and dies of fright. The old Sultan is restored to power and you are named his heir. Hell yeah. Gained 3 destiny. 1, 2, 3. I am now at 11 destiny. I gained wisdom, finally. And I think I gained the status of Sultan as well. Fancy. Let's see. Do I get Sultan? I do. There's Sultan. Okay. We'll read that in just a minute. What else do I get? Wisdom. That's right. I get the skill of wisdom. Gaining skills left, right, and center here. All right, Sultan. Let's read Sultan. Allah has blessed you with great wealth and a great kingdom. Immediately increase your wealth to fabulous. I am fabulous, everybody. I am the top of my wealth. Fabulous. In addition, it only costs 1 movement to move from one city to the next along a path. Do not count any other terrain. Holy crap. To lose, if your wealth level falls to poor or less, lose this status. Alternately, you may discard this status to move to any place of power and have an immediate encounter. Wow. Well. I have risen quite the way here. I am a blessed Sultan, searching for the earthly paradise. My. And I get to move so fast now. Yeah, that's fascinating. All right. Oh, I got 3 story points as well. I went up 3 on my destiny, but not 3 on the story. So we'll go to 9. Okay. Well, that turned out to be pretty lucrative. All right. If you were watching and you didn't want the spoiler of the Valley of Diamonds, it is now safe to watch again. All right. 1. So, and now I can, for reasons you may or may not want to know, I can now move faster. So I'm just going to be counting cities from here on out. 1, 2. Am I right about that? It costs only 1 movement to move from one city to the next along a path. Okay, got it. Yeah. 1, 2, and then 3, 4, which will put me right outside of my destination. I'm now in the forests of Asia. Okay, draw 2, pick 1. Sage or barber? I am not in a city, so the barber, and I don't need to heal. I don't think I need to see that. Let's see the sage. We haven't actually encountered one of these kinds of cards before. If we look up close, they just have, what you do when you encounter them, depending on the time of day. Nothing in the rules, at least in the solo rules, says when to change the time of day. So it's always just been in the morning state. I don't know if that's right or not. I've looked for the rule, can't find it. So I'm going to have to post in the forum to find out what that rule actually is supposed to be. Maybe I just missed it somewhere, but I don't think I have. So I'm just going to read the morning, which is what it currently is, which is 85. Now, I've never done one of these people ones before, so let's just make sure I'm not supposed to do a plus or minus or do anything crazy here. Character encounters. Refer to the time marker. Encounter card will direct the reader to various paragraphs in the Book of Tales, matching the time icon that's shown. Oh, okay, so that's it. I don't do a plus or minus. I don't do anything. Okay, 85. 85, that's pretty early in the book. 85, decision matrix, A. Okay, so it's a sage. So when we are trying to decide how we want to handle this sage, we can choose one of these reactions. Do I grovel before the sage? Do I try to help the sage? Rob him? Avoid him? Converse with him? Attack? Court? Abduct? Or honor? I'm going to try to honor the sage. So this is column A on the reaction chart. I am choosing honor. And before I do that, I need to go to here. This is 85, right? Is that what I said? 85. I guess I roll the die because I need to do that first. I get a +2 on this die. Where are you, 85? There you are. Matrix A. Oh, I don't roll. Or maybe I do. I do roll. I roll both dice. And we figure out what he is. What kind of a sage are you? I rolled a 3 and a 4. I think that means I get to add 2 because my destiny's up high enough. So that's 7, 8, 9. He's a vengeful sage. Oof. Is that what I do though? Because I mean, what's weird is it doesn't say like what column I choose from or anything like that. So vengeful. It's very strange. A typical encounter. I wish it was clearer. Paragraph 119. Because these paragraphs don't start until like the mid hundreds, and they go up from there. So it's just really weird because I don't really understand what happens when you have just 12 things to choose from. How else do you do that besides rolling the die, right? I guess I'm just going to do what I did. It's vengeful. So we're going to go vengeful. So then we know column A, vengeful. And I'm choosing, do I want to honor him knowing that he's vengeful? I could try to attack him. Could try to abduct him, but I don't know. Why would I abduct a sage? It's weird. I don't want to grovel in front of a sage. Nor do I want to help a vengeful sage. I could try to talk to him. I could just avoid him. That doesn't seem like fun. I could say screw it and try to attack him. I could rob him. He's vengeful. But if I fail and he's vengeful, then I'm really screwed. Screw it. My first choice is the choice I'm going with. I'm going to go with vengeful. I'm going to go with honoring. I'm going to honor the vengeful sage. I don't know. It just seems like the thing to do. And that was my first inclination. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Now I do a plus or minus roll. And I'm going to read 321, 320 is actually what I'm reading because I rolled a minus. Okay, 320. The other pauses to judge you. I'm sorry, they say, but what has happened has happened. You are beyond help. That's weird. That is... That doesn't seem like it's part of it, but okay, whatever. You accede to their judgment and go on your way. 1 destiny point. That's fine. That was a weird card. It was really difficult to figure out how to resolve. I don't want to waste any more time on it. I'm good with gaining 1 destiny point, which puts me at 12. And now we move on 1 step, and that puts us into the forest location, which I think is supposed to be the destination for my solo quest. Milestone 5. Milestone 5 is 624. We have only 1 more milestone to go before the end of this quest, which will be the end of the game. Milestone 5, the earthly paradise. After weeks of travel across Asia, you have come to a land called by its natives the glowing forest. At night you understand well the name. The trees are filled with a miraculous fruit that shines with its own faint light, so that after sunset, each tree is like a new constellation. Your goal is within reach, and after a few days you find a village of most interesting and courteous people. You are invited by the headman of the village to stay with him for as long as you wish, for visitors from the Arab cities are rare in these remote lands. To your surprise, they are Arabs and of the faith, and regularly practice the 5 daily prayers. They even have a wooden minaret from which the uh, Muzin leads the call to prayer. I hope I'm not butchering pronunciation terribly. If I am, I apologize. They are hungry for tales of the Arab lands, for many of them have family in the civilized world, and you spin stories for them long into the night. Finally, one among them asks what has brought you to their village, and you recount all that has happened to you. The villagers whisper excitedly among themselves, and the headman speaks. Truly, you have come to the land you seek, for it is here that the earthly paradise can be found. If you wish, you will be allowed to see it after the morning prayer, or if you do not wish, you may remain with us. It is your choice. There was an earlier point in the story where it said this is not the greatest thing that Allah has, or whatever the phrase was. I'm not going to see it. I'm going to remain with them instead. I'm going to stay among the villagers and watch their work. Go to paragraph 626. You decide to remain among the villagers for a day to witness their work. The villagers are mostly farmers. They have cleared a stretch of land, and on it they grow wheat and other grains, and graze sheep in the meadows of the forest. Some of the men go to fish in the streams, and the women care for their children, sew, weave, and cook. You notice that all undertake their various tasks with a joyful determination, and you find that by the end of the day, you are working alongside the villagers and helping with their tasks. When the evening prayer is over, you talk again with the headman. He asks if you wish to visit the earthly paradise on the next day, but you decline. You have already promised your day to one of the young people of the village to help with a difficult task that needs to be done. The headman smiles and goes to sleep. The third evening is the same, and the headman asks if you would like to see paradise the next day, and you decline, saying you have to help others perform their duties. The headman laughs and says, "You have found paradise after all." You are puzzled by his words, and he says, "This is the secret of the paradise. Paradise is but a cultivated garden, and all therein know they belong. Far greater is the one who will labor for their people than the one who drinks sherbets and lets their neighbors starve at alms time. Only in heaven can beauty be had without labor, and until then, it is the task of man to make all of the earth a paradise." He laughs again. "You could stay here forever doing one more task for your friend or for any of us. Better it will be for you if you return to spread this lesson among the faithful. Before you depart, though, he takes you to the garden that they have built. It stands in a clearing not far from the village. It is surrounded by a wall too high to see over and is barred by iron gates. Over the gates are inscribed the words from the Quran, 'Whose is the earth and all it contains?' The headman of the village opens the gates, and within you see a cultivated garden, full of fruit trees and vines. There is a stream running through and a soft meadow. It is truly beautiful, and you praise the headman for the accomplishments of the people." He laughs again and says, "It is a garden, nothing more. The growing is what is important. Now that you have seen it, though, you should return to the lands of your home." You agree, and you take your leave the next day to return to Baghdad. +3 destiny, up to 15. 2 story, up to 11. I become enlightened. I am enlightened. The lesson you have learned has moved you greatly. No longer do you desire the things of a fragile material world. You will strive in all you do to better the world, knowing that perfection is a goal that cannot be reached, but that the pursuit of the better is better than the pursuit of the good. Milestone 6, Baghdad, quest marker +3, up to 7. That was cool. Yeah, okay. 6 to Baghdad. Go back home. Okay. Well, getting home should be quick with our sultany, blessed, enlightened ways. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you couldn't see any of that. So I'm up here and I get to move between cities for 1 move because I'm a sultan. 1, 2, 3, and 4 to Baghdad. So from 1 straight to the next. Let me make sure I get 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, fast traveling Sultan. Right. Milestone 6. 627. Let's read the last one and call this one done. Milestone 6, homecoming. You return to Baghdad, and all that you have seen and learned on the quest fills your mind. You have witnessed Christians and Sufis, dervishes and fakirs, and the grand palace of the Byzantine emperor, but the headman of a village in Asia who held the keys to paradise was the most wondrous of all. Quest +0, go to paragraph 628. 628, endings. If you are not enlightened, and your quest score is 7 or less, it is 7 or less. Oh, I was 1 away. 1 away from the best. I bet you if I had decided to stop one more time, I would have maybe gotten 1 more quest. I don't know. It's fine. Good enough though. I'm enlightened, and I didn't quite make the high quest level of 8, but we'll read 630, and maybe next time I'll play it, and we'll see if we get the better ending or the. Okay, I see. So if I had been not enlightened, it would have been barely successful. If I got to quest level 7, but not quite 8, then I am fairly successful. That's what we ended up achieving today. And then if I had done, if I had gotten quest level to 8 or higher, then I would be greatly successful. But as it is, I get to read the fairly successful paragraph. It says, what you beheld in the glowing forest has brought you closer to the Most High. You establish yourself as a merchant, and your business flourishes, but never do you forget to give alms at alms season. Your faith is an example to those around you, and when you finally are claimed by the ender of stories, you know that you have made the world a better place. I technically get a +3 to get me to rich, but I'm already fabulous. So I don't get, that's right. By the way, thanks for the resub, Meta Nightshade. Appreciate you. Because I am the Sultan, damn right. Yeah, so I am a fabulously rich Sultan who is both blessed and enlightened. That was a grand journey of discovery that took us from the Isles of Ireland to Mecca and Baghdad to the forests of northern Asia and back again. What a fabulous journey that is. Wow. I wonder if all of them are so very steeped in religion, or is it certain ones are and certain ones aren't? It was fine. I actually really didn't mind the parable at all. I thought that was extremely well done. So let me talk differences for a minute. The differences in playing the solo game is, as you saw, this one was entirely driven by the quest, the solo quest, and you're going on a beginning, middle, and end journey, and that's the marker. I could have decided to stop along the way. I was kind of just going hard on that quest to get that much done, and as it was, I did very well. I didn't quite get the best outcome, but I did pretty good. And we saw a lot. We saw one of these places of wonder and everything. But in the multiplayer game, questing is actually not the main driver of the game. It is a part of the game. You can have a quest and you can go on that quest. There's an entire deck of quests, in fact, not just solo, but also regular game in multiplayer. But most of the time, your time is actually not spent in pursuit of a certain quest. Quests just help you like define a narrative. Um, but there are other methods of playing this game, several, in fact. And I find that is fascinating. That not only has the community developed methods of playing this game that are not necessarily reflected in the rule book, but there are many modes of play in the rule book directly, and quests are just one of them. So it's interesting that the solo game is so heavily dependent on the quest, but I get why to a degree, because there's no like, you're not hearing the stories of everybody else around the table going through their adventures and all of those things. You're on your own, and so this is just giving, I think, a little bit of structure to a very open world, open-ended game. Otherwise, I would have liked to see more treasures, and I think if I had done more side questing and just visiting towns and traveling around and seeing more of the world, I probably would have. But because I stuck so close to the quest, I feel like I saw fewer of those things because I was resolving mostly quest encounters. So I'll be interested to play this again and choose a different solo quest and maybe spend less time trying to get from point A to point B on the quest and spending more time wandering and seeing the world around me a little bit. Maybe taking the long roads to get where I'm going and take more time. But as it was, I don't mean to construe that as saying it was a lesser experience. Not at all. I find that to be fascinating that you can have a totally different experience with this game. Time in and time out, depending on what quests you choose to use or don't, which characters you choose to play, what skills that you choose to start with, and what, of course, happens to you, and the choices you make during your encounters changes everything as well. I got nothing but good things to say about this. I think this is a really great engine, and it's a really cool way to spend a few hours developing your own narrative, your own adventure that you went on. As it was, this 100 Keys there's a location that talks about this, a palace of 100 closets. I could have visited that location. That's a place we can go. I would have no idea what you do when you get there or how to even find it, but that could have been something that I do. So all in all, a great presentation. I think some of the edge cases, especially in the solo rules, needs to be spelled out a little bit more. It wasn't entirely clear how to resolve certain types of cards. And I think some of that comes from the fact that this game has been out for 40 years, and there are people that know this game very, very well and already know the answers to some of these questions from previous editions of the game. And me coming in cold, I can't come in with those assumptions. So I didn't have some of the answers that I think some people already have in their heads when they return to this game after playing it from previous editions. But as it stands, I think it won't be very hard to find answers to those questions. And maybe there's just a errata sheet that can be released on maybe a future edition of this game or some such to help fill this out, or even just something I can print out from BGG. That would be fine too. But I think it's great. I would be very interested to experience this multiplayer and see how it changes. And it does make me very interested. This goes back to the first thing I said when we first started the stream. Am I now, after playing this, interested in playing Tales of the Arthurian Knights, which is the second game in this franchise? A third, I believe, is coming, which we don't know the answer to, and like what the title is or what theme it will have. But this structure makes me excited to play Tales of the Arthurian Knights, because I think this will, as deep and rich. Look at these books just as a reminder. Look at this book. This book is huge, full of all of the different encounters and permutations of the encounters that you can have, to say nothing of all of the solo quest content that you get when you play solo that is completely separate from the base game. Together, these books are like, that is a ton of material in here to get through. And that's just this game. If Tales of the Arthurian Knights is anything close to this level of depth and richness and story and discovery, I'm going to really enjoy that. So there you go. This has been Tales of the Arabian Nights, the 40th anniversary edition. I think the publisher Play to Z has done an admirable job paying respect to this property. I'm excited to dig into it more as I have time and as other people want to join me playing it. So if this is your kind of game, I hope you give it a chance or decide to pick it up. And if not, I hope you enjoyed the playthrough at least. So thanks again for joining me on this at the table on this Sunday, and catch me again next week for something completely different. All right. Take care, everybody.